Welcome back to Copper Star Precision, the channel dedicated to getting you more points at your competitive shooting matches. Now, we're still going over the December Course of Fire for NRL22. This is the fourth stage in the booklet, Christmas Cookie Overload. Pretty interesting stage, lots of strategy decisions to be made. Restriction of this stage is one bag, no bipods. So if you have lucky enough to have the $1,000 MDT triple pole bipod, you can't just deploy that in the front. No bipods allowed. Stage description is as follows. You ate too many Christmas cookies, now your belly is too full to get up. On the start signal, the shooter will remain seated in the chair, taking a position on the sawhorse. The shooter will announce which target they intend to engage, and engage a designated target for the predetermined amount of points. The shooter may change targets at any time, but must clearly announce the change loud enough for the RO to hear. So we have 4 different targets. I'll put the target sizes up here. As you can see, a 1 inch at 86 yards is pretty ridiculous. That's a very small target. 1.5 isn't much better. Then you get to 2.5 and 3, but then those are worth fewer and fewer points. So 10 points for the 1 inch target, 8 points for the 1.5, 5 points for the 2.5, and 3 points for the largest target of 3 inches. But then what's interesting is you're seated here, and then you're on the sawhorse like this. You're only allowed one bag. So you might think you could use like the plate, but then how do you get onto the rifle like this? Now, of course, different clubs are going to have different sawhorses and all that kind of stuff. But for my setup right here, this is really not going to work if I have to remain seated. So this is probably not a good candidate for the Gray Ops plate. Let's see if a OG Game Changer is tall enough. Even this is not going to work. If we turn this and try and get this as tall as possible, probably not going to work. We can kind of stand it up there. Here we might be able to. And then what I'm going to do here, with my feet planted on the ground, I'm going to rest my elbows either in front of my knee, right, in the sort of socket of my knee, or on top of my thigh. I don't want to be bone-on-bone contact. This is very wobbly and unstable. I want my elbow bone to go into my thigh muscle somewhere, like this, and then come down on the rifle. This is relatively stable, yet ridiculously uncomfortable in my neck and my back. And I can change height here by varying my knees like so. So you might have to get the biggest bag you have. In my case, this is Armageddon Gears Pump Pillow Fat Bag. And that's the tallest bag I have. Hopefully I'm in a squad with someone who has even bigger bags, because I think even this is pretty uncomfortable. I'm using my left hand here as rear support, and I'm kind of, as the rifle's in my shoulder, I'm kind of holding onto my bicep to try and make as stable as a rear position as possible. And then again, I'm trying to put my elbows into thigh muscle, not elbow to knee contact. If you need to get lower, put the back of your tricep on your knee like this. So the key to this stage is definitely having a bag that is at least tall enough, making sure that you're not doing bone-on-bone contact. If you need to get lower, try putting the back of your tricep on your kneecap. Make sure you're not making bone-to-bone contact, because it's not very stable. And you can change your elevation kind of by squeezing or widening your legs. But this is going to be quite the challenge. So make sure you probably need a really big bag, depending on the way your sawhorse is set up, or hope that someone in your squad does. So it'll be interesting to see what happens at the match. To see that footage, I will release that after the match on Sunday. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel, and until I see you next time, as always, score more points.